Hello and welcome to the J.A.W.W.A podcast. This is the 11th episode, I believe.
Yeah.
With William Jacobs and Tamika Brown. Nobody else is here right now.
So what do you want to talk about?
We could talk about... I think we haven't started... Did we talk about the 24-hour game jam?
No.
I think we finished that. Oh. We haven't been here in a while then.
Yeah.
It's been like a month. So, the 24-hour jam happened on the 28th, or 27th and 28th.
I think so. Was it the 26th?
I think it was the 27th. But we were all stuck in a room together for 24 hours. Well, not 24 hours exactly.
20 hours.
Basically. But we all spent time together for a little over 24 hours.
Yeah. Up for 36 hours straight.
Yeah. You were I think you stayed up the longest out of all of us.
Keanu and Jordan never fell asleep. Oh, Keanu.
Keanu.
Jordan never did.
I know, but like
I think
overall, because you went home and then you went and did stuff, I think.
No, I fell asleep in the truck. My dad's truck, like 20 or 15 minutes into driving. And then slept for like 2.5 hours.
So you were like, is anyone still up at like 7 p.m. that day?
Yeah, so I fell asleep like at 5 or whenever, 10 minutes after. And then at I think 7 or 7:30, I woke up and then I ate dinner and then went to bed and slept again.
Yeah. I took a nap for like 3 hours during the jam, and then I think I went home. I stayed up till like 6:30ish and then crashed.
Passed out. I think that night though, Katura probably slept the least after the game jam.
But she was the one who took like a 30-minute nap, which I was like...
She was also... I was surprised though, because she seemed like the most tired during the game jam. Like,
she was.
She was like, when she was once it got past like 2 a.m., she was just like...
She was also so
grumpy.
grumpy.
Until it was the next day, she was like grumpy and just out of it.
Yeah. But she still got stuff done, which was pretty good. And then Keanu, you should totally put a picture of that as like the thing instead of the J.A.W.W.A podcast. Just like Keanu's
that should be the new photo of our YouTube channel.
Of course, yeah. It's like our YouTube got hacked.
And then I think I slept for like 30 seconds or a minute in the theater.
Yeah, you like closed your eyes for like a minute.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could fall asleep in the theater.
Half asleep.
I don't know how Keanu fell asleep though.
He was just snoring.
I'm pretty sure everyone heard it because it was pretty like quiet. And he was just...
I didn't see that many people. Like, I think I saw like 2 or 3 other people. Katura said she saw a lot of people that were just like falling asleep through the presentation. But
well, probably, because, I mean, the business ones weren't too entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think they had to do that because of the sponsors, right?
The business presentation? You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the business presentations were to do with if you won and wanted to keep developing your game, you had to have a business presentation to show like how you'd make money off of it, how you'd produce it and stuff. Yeah. Which is why it counted for like 50% of all the points.
That makes sense though.
Wonder though whatever happened with the winning team.
Oh,
if they kept developing it or not.
Well, I guess, but they were just kind of like that one guy and his goons. That's what. And then the girl joined on.
No, I'm talking about the one. They didn't win though. They got second. I'm talking about the ones
Oh,
that made like
yeah.
the horror game.
No. Oh yeah.
They got
had,
first.
They had the goons. They didn't get the girl.
No, they didn't. They didn't get the business person.
Because the other ones were like advertising a bunch at the start of the game jam. But
because I think the reason the one that had the big like the business plan got second place and got so high was because of the business plan.
yeah.
The game was like something you could scrap together. With like the scripts I have, I could probably scrap that together
Oh,
in an
100%.
hour or two. Easily. Like
It was so laggy too.
Laggy.
Glitchy.
The idea of the platforms was cool.
Yeah.
But they also didn't work perfect that
and
well.
I couldn't see it fitting in with the space theme.
Other than you're playing as an astronaut. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, you're shooting platforms.
Yeah. As an astronaut. The graphics were also not great.
Well, it was just the astronaut and then...
The astronaut, and then it was just, like, platforms. And, like, they had no, like, the enemies were just still sprites. They weren't even, like, interactable at all, and they wouldn't move.
And I'm surprised because they had, like, what was it, 4 or 5 people on their team?
Well, and they said that they all programmed.
Yeah.
So then when I saw the game out...
Apparently one of them was for art. But...
Okay, but then, like, the other 3 programmed.
Yeah.
And I was like... And they're all, like, college students. I'm like... That's why I thought they'd do a way better job than us, and yet we had a lot more code in ours, and it was a lot more interactable, and it was actually a playable game. Theirs is just, like...
Well, maybe
a movement
they scrapped
guy
at, like,
that...
4 a.m., too.
Maybe they what?
Maybe they scrapped at 4 a.m., too.
Would have had to be a pretty big scrap to
Yeah.
get... And not even 4 a.m. You'd have to scrap at, like, 9.
Oh, yeah, we scrapped at 4 a.m.
Yeah. When we did that, I was like, that's kind of a stupid decision.
That's a bold move by
Yeah.
Ventura.
But I was like, she's just so, like, out of it right now. I'm not going to try and do it. Because I know that if I knew, I was like, if I were to try and get her back to convince to the original plan, she probably would just have no motivation at all to do it. For how, yeah. And I was like, and then she'll just not really be doing much. So.
Yeah. I kind of wish that we were able to make Jordan and Keanu do more.
Yeah.
But, like, I know they wanted to do more.
I think what
we didn't have.
I think would be fun is to do one of those, like, just, like, maybe over summer break or something, do, like, one of those, week-long game jams that's, like, virtual. And just for fun, and then have, like, all of us do a game.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. Because the 24-hour was fun. It's just not a lot of time at all to do a game.
I felt like if we could have had, like, maybe a platformer.
It would have been better.
Because we could have just set up the scenes and then did that and the rest. And then we could have sent scenes over to each other.
Yeah.
But, like...
The one thing I want to do now that I figured it out today is another type of, like the game that me and Jordan are working on is just air hockey.
I know,
and
but it's so fun because it's...
No, I'm not saying it's not fun, but I'm saying it's just air hockey, and because I got the online working now, I want to make, like, a game that does, like, that can do, like, 30 people, although I'd probably never get that many people playing unless I made it maybe public. Just, like, have some game that you can do, like, a ton of people play online, especially just have, like, a ton of friends. And the other thing, too, is the tool I used for this, in the package manager, they have a feature built in for voice.
Oh, yeah?
So you can just talk to each other while playing. And so I said that'd be fun to do with air hockey, but, like, what would be super fun is if you had 10 people playing and do it, because it would get so chaotic talking.
That would be like, what is it called? Family style with voice talking.
Yeah, and then you could play not in the same. You wouldn't have to be in the same room to play.
But it would also be so intense because you don't know where you're throwing to. Cause you're just,
Or like, what was it? I think it was during the deep dive, Mr. Slyko showed us a video, and some guy was trying to make like an online survival game.
Oh yeah, with the monkeys with guns.
No, it wasn't. It was like, was it that?
It was monkeys
with like the
guns.
dinosaurs and stuff? And it was like procedural generated world.
Oh no, that wasn't it. It was
okay.
But it was from the same guy, I think.
So yeah, but I think like something like that would be really fun to try to make something like maybe not like the procedural generation, but like the rest of it I think would be fun to do. Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Minecraft, but it's still like
Minecraft,
different.
but like less of I'm thinking like less of like a or like not like or maybe like survival, but like you're out not to survive the longest exactly, but like you can also sabotage each other.
Ooh, that would
like
be
the
fun.
other one, the one that guy made was like dinosaurs can kill you, but like it'd be cool if like you could like build up a fortress and then build weapons and not just fight the dinosaurs but fight each other.
Like Don't Starve, but it would be like multiplayer and you'd have to make that would be fun.
Multiplayer, try and
because then you'd also need to feed yourself.
It's always because with Unity, like multiplayer games are always my favorite. It's always the hardest to make, and the thing is because it's always the hardest to make, I found like when I was younger, there's always so many multiplayer games out there.
Yeah.
Especially since a lot of multiplayer games are geared for younger kids, but like I always find it fun playing like fun interactive multiplayer games with people.
Oh yeah.
Which I haven't done that much in the last few years. Like me and my brother used to always play like Mario together. But like we don't really play Mario that often anymore. And like the newest Mario that like we were both into a lot was Mario Odyssey. And although that had a 2-player, it was just Cappy or Mario.
Yeah.
And it was like if you're Cappy, it's just like, well, what's the point of playing? Because you like could not control what you were doing at all, basically, other than just like move around.
Yeah. But it would be fun to like Mario and Luigi, Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. That's why. Same with like Zelda. That's like Breath of the Wild it's probably like my most played game, other than maybe Minecraft ever, because I just liked the open world part of it.
I feel like Breath of the Wild would be really good.
Multiplayer. Yeah, I've like ever since I got the game, I've just wanted multiplayer. I'm just like, can there be some type of multiplayer version? And although there's never been a Breath of the Wild that's multiplayer, I don't think.
Maybe.
And I don't think they're ever going to make a multiplayer one, which is always disappointing because I really, especially with like these new Breath of the Wild or new Zelda games are becoming way more open world games. Like Breath of the Wild is like the first one that's like truly an open world explorer game, and it would be super fun if you could do some type of multiplayer with that, because you're able to, because then you can explore with multiple people the world together.
And it would be really fun because, you know, it's Zelda.
Yeah. And then you can craft together and stuff. Breath of the Wild was always the most disappointing part of that game. was Ganon.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting Ganon. Because you fight it, and it's like, yay, I've defeated Ganon. And I remember when I first defeated Ganon, and they had the screen, and I was so excited. And then it loaded back to the to before I fought. And I was like, is this a glitch? Like, I had no idea what was happening. I was like, what just happened? And then one of my friends told me, because when I did it, one of my friends was right beside me, and then they said that you just go back. And they were talking about how one of their friends, one time when they defeated Ganon, they thought it was a glitch, fought Ganon like 10 more times before finally realizing it wasn't a glitch and that there's just nothing after Ganon. Because they were like, there has to be something afterwards. Like, you know how like you build like Terrytown? It would be fun if there was like some type of, although it's more of a survival game, it's still the collecting part. I find that's like a bit more repetitive and boring, but I find that fun, especially if you're able to like, if they were to put it in a way where like you kind of have to rebuild Hyrule a bit and like collect items. Rebuild Hyrule, but like there's still like enemies out there and stuff, and you're just trying to like get rid of the remains of Ganon, and then the sequel with Tears of the Kingdom, I think it's going to be something to do with Ganon of some sort coming back. And then you could just have Tears of the Kingdom still lead into that because it's just fighting Ganon again.
Yeah.
Or not fighting Ganon again. I'm curious how they're doing Tears of the Kingdom. Like, what the main...
I hope it isn't, like, you fight Ganon and nothing happens. Because I feel like
I really hope that's not. Because Breath of the Wild, that made it just so
I think it
disappointing.
was just 'cause of it being rushed. No.
They wanted to get it out for the
Yeah.
Switch. Launch of the Switch. And
Which
they
made it rushed.
They started developing it. The thing was, though, is they still had like 5 years of developing it because they started it when the Wii U launched. That's when they started developing. Was the same year.
Oh yeah.
And then they launched it on the Switch and Wii U because it was originally designed for the Wii U. But then the Wii was such a flop that they then decided, okay, let's pivot for it to be more for the Switch, but still launch it in the on the Wii U because that's what we originally designed it for in the first place. Yeah. But I hope, like, Tears of the Kingdom, I guess, because they've had 6 years instead, which, although it's not a lot, the one thing I've always hoped with Tears of the Kingdom is they open up the world more. The floating islands thing I thought was cool, because that would add a lot more.
Fun.
But I also just hope they, like, have more underground or, like, actually, like, go outside of Hyrule a bit, because they have this whole world they've made with Breath of the Wild to go off, and they are going off of it. You can see that in the trailers. They're just taking the regular world and adding onto it. And so I hope they're able to add a lot more, like, areas to go to or something, because although it's a massive world when you first start playing, it seems, and it still is massive, it seems way smaller once you've explored the whole thing. Like, I've logged, like, hundreds of hours on that game, and I've explored almost every corner of that game. And now when I go explore, I know where everything is, and there's not a lot of new stuff to do.
If only it was, like, procedural generated.
For Zelda.
For Zelda, yeah.
You could never search up a tutorial and see how to beat something because it's always new with every person. That would be fun. That would be... I could see, though, when you first make a new world, it taking forever to load. Like, you'd have to, you'd go load it, you'd probably take, like, 20 or 30 minutes easily for it to procedural generate the entire world. Because Minecraft is pretty simple, and that takes 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
You're now making an entire 3D world. The one thing I've thought cool is, because ever since, I've heard about this before, too, but, like, ChatGPT, when it came out, you can get it to write code and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are saying, like, the next version of that is going to be, you're able to type into an upgraded version of ChatGPT, for example, and you're able to make a movie using an AI bot. So you'll be able to tell it, I want this movie, this is what happens in it, these are the characters. You'll even be able to basically say you want these actors in it that are real-life actors, and it'll look realistic or pretty realistic, and it'll be able to procedural generate, basically, an entire movie. And then they're saying the next version of that's going to be when, and this is kind of like the part where it destroys the whole game development sector, is when you're able to tell it a video game to make, and it'll be able to make you a custom video game just by saying what you want in it, and it'll be able to generate an entire video game.
If only you could, like, generate Unity projects and then, like, all the code. But then you'd, like,
but then you can still edit
stuff.
it afterwards. Yeah, that'll probably be before they come out with, like, a full-on game. That'll probably be the first thing that happens. But that'd be really... But, like, I've always thought that would be cool. The other thing, though, is with that, it probably would be cloud-based, but they could make I could not see anyone making any money off of it unless it's run locally, because they'd be spending so much money on the processing power. And, of course, processing is always getting cheaper and faster. But, like, the amount of processing power you'd need for the AI to do that on the cloud.
So much power.
Especially since if you were to launch it like ChatGPT is for free, already ChatGPT is way more expensive than search engines. Making an entire movie, although it's going to be cheaper than making a regular movie, if you made every person in the public be able to make their own movie, you'd be having millions of people each day making a new movie to watch that night, for example.
And then you would just, like, be able to make new, like, add on to the Marvel series.
Yeah. Make a sequel to.
It's like, this is better
Make
than
make
normal.
tell it make a sequel to Endgame that's better.
Exactly. And then it would come up with a better ending instead
Yeah.
of Iron Man and everyone dying.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all the good characters were just killed.
They're all killed, and I've also noticed since Endgame, I've heard that they're working on a new character that's going to be like the new Thanos type thing, and they're going to start leading into that with the next few movies. But like when they first threw in these, like almost every movie that's come out, I want to see Black Panther because that came on Disney Plus, and I haven't watched it yet now, and I never watched it in theaters. But like I've heard Ant-Man and the new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie
I heard it
was just
good.
terrible, and was kind of like
Really?
I just heard it was like didn't make a lot of sense, and like same with like, and I agreed with like with the latest Spider-Man movie with the Spider-Verse one.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, what is happening here? Because although like it just doesn't lead into the what Endgame did, because Endgame was always like leading up to like every movie leading up to Endgame was or like Infinity War. It was all leading you up to this one moment, and right now it feels like they're just pumping out movies, and they're just trying to come up with whatever idea they can for a new movie.
Yeah.
And it's not leading up to anything. It's just like all over the place.
And then I think Endgame was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah.
With everyone dying. But
Yeah.
like with the most powerful characters dying, how are you going to make another Thanos type character?
Yeah.
Cuz all of them are just gone.
Yeah. Well, like my favorite character in Marvel has always been Tony Stark and like
course,
Iron Man,
yeah.
because I just like the whole like prospect of Iron Man, but I always liked all the like tech he was creating, his company was creating.
Yeah.
And like it's just all gone. Like they haven't had a single movie basically to do with that. Like I did like
what happens
okay,
after
I did like the
he
new
dies?
I did like Spider-Man Far From Home because that was still kind of hanging on to that. Like
Yeah.
when he had the glass, my favorite part was when Peter got the glasses from Stark, and he was using it, and then started just talking, I guess, to himself or something, or was saying like, "How can I get whatever guy on the bus he didn't like that was annoying to shut up?" And the glasses basically sent a drone from space to come and shoot the guy, and it was just like, I just liked that part where they kind of showed like all this tech they had, and I just found it really cool. But like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I also feel like I get why the Marvel fan base is so strong, but at the same time, it's kind of getting lost.
Yeah.
Because,
It's like, yeah. It's same with Star Wars, though. Like, Disney, whenever they've bought in a studio, their new goal is just pump out movies and make money.
Just because it's part of that franchise.
They're just thinking, people will watch. They're just thinking people will watch it, which most people do. Marvel, there was a point, especially before COVID, where I was watching every Marvel movie. When it came out, I'd go to the theaters and watch it within like 2 weeks. Now, since COVID, I might have watched one in theaters. I don't even think I have.
I haven't watched any.
I've gone to the theaters like 2 or 3 times since COVID and never watched a Marvel movie out of any of them because it always comes out and I'm just like,
will it be good? Will it be bad?
Yeah. And it's same with like Star Wars. There was somewhere they did a good job. My least favorite Star Wars movie they came out with was the like latest, like the one that's latest in the franchise, which is like
9?
Yeah. And it's like, we've made the greatest empire and it will never be destroyed. And in one movie, which takes place over 12 hours, they're able to destroy this giant empire.
Exactly.
And it's like, it just didn't make sense because they were like, it's so great. And every other empire before that that was made lasted 3 movies at least. And this one, which is supposedly the greatest, lasted 12 hours in a 2-hour movie. Or 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
It's like, I built this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
My favorite, like I'd say like my favorite and kind of like the only good one, and just because it's really cute and like funny, was Mandalorian. That's like the only
that was a good
one that I
series.
find actually good that Disney made. I did like Solo was pretty good. What was the other one that was based around the same time as Solo?
3.5, I think.
Yeah, that one I didn't like because every single character in the end that was in the movie died. It
Yeah.
was like they get you like hooked on all these characters, and then they get just blown up by the Death Star, and it's like, why? And I get why they had to do that because it's not their characters aren't in any of the future movies.
Yeah.
But it was just like, why did you have to destroy these characters?
I do feel like Solo was one of the best ones out of all of the newer ones.
Yeah, I liked it because it just took a character that everyone knew really well,
Yeah.
and everyone likes, and went into the backstory of that character. Yeah, and then I liked the first Star Wars movie Disney made after they bought Star Wars.
Bad, yeah.
That one wasn't bad, but then the second one was like all based around that ship running out of fuel and getting shot by and then the third one was just the greatest empire getting destroyed in 12 hours. So I liked the first one, but the second and third were just I guess so. I liked 7, but I didn't like 8 and 9. They were both just they were both made over a really short time of 2 days. That's what it was based off. And they weren't, and it was just very repetitive in what kind of happened in it, or yeah, not a lot, I guess, happened because they weren't able to every other Star Wars movie before that was based over weeks or months, basically.
Yeah.
And then they were able to go way more into what was happening in that time period, and you're able to go over way more stuff happening.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I didn't like WandaVision too much.
Yeah, I have some friends that really loved WandaVision.
Which I did not
And
get.
at first, I watched the first episode, didn't watch it for another few months, because I was just like, what is this? It didn't make any sense. I was like, this is just some comedy series made around Marvel. I did not get it at all. And then I had friends that were just telling me it's so good, and you just don't get the story yet. And so eventually, when I had time, I was like, okay, I downloaded a few episodes, and on a trip, I watched them all. And it made more sense once you finished it.
Yeah.
There was just the first half, especially the episodes, were really boring. The last 2 episodes, they were fine, but everyone before that was just what is happening? And it was really boring. The first 2 especially, because I hate, unless it's a comedy, unless it's a stand-up comedy show, I hate laugh tracks in any type of in any type of show. And it was just a laugh trap. That was it was just a laugh track after laugh track after laugh track. And
I mean,
it's
I don't mind them in some, but
some it works well. It was just I've never heard of a laugh track in any Marvel thing ever. And so when they had it, I was just so confused.
And then none of the things actually landed right. The jokes.
Yeah.
They were just mediocre.
Yeah. And then what was it? The one that was kind of based around after they had the fake the new Captain America.
Captain Marvel?
No, it was they had the Hawk in it, and
series.
yeah, and the White Soldier. I'm saying that wrong. The name's wrong, but and they were just I found it funny with the new Captain America. That part was funny.
Yeah.
And he was pretty funny just because it was just such a screw up on the American, for the U.S. Government doing that. Just the guy who just was a terrible person and stuff, and wanted just revenge, but it just didn't. It wasn't a good series. I found the Loki series. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good, yeah.
And then I kind of liked, what was the Hawkeye one. That one was also pretty good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You have to watch it during Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it's completely based around Christmas. You can watch it outside of Christmas, but it's that was the one thing about it, was because it was based around Christmas. It's I don't want to watch it ever again other than maybe during Christmas. But it was still a good series. I just never would want to watch it outside of Christmas season because it's just completely based around the week leading up to Christmas. and everything. They're like in New York, and just everything's decorating Christmas. So it's like, yeah.
But didn't they send it out around like September or October or something?
I think it was like an 8-part series. I think the first episode started coming out it was either the end of October or early November.
Yeah.
And the last one came out like, I think it was Christmas Day.
Oh.
But because it was that 8-part series, it did start like 2 or 3 months before actually it was Christmas. And like, it was like a month or a month and a half before Christmas season kind of actually started, which is why I think when it came out, I also wasn't really sure what it was, and I don't think I actually watched it until almost every episode was out.
Yeah.
And I had some friends saying like the first few episodes were good, and so I think it was like the last 2 weeks of before Christmas, I binge watched the series and pretty much watched every single episode, and then I had to wait for like I think the last 2 episodes to come out when I caught up to the series.
I feel like they could have just released the 8 days, like one each day.
Yeah, we call like 8 days leading up to Christmas. It's just okay with like Netflix has started doing this too. I think Disney Plus was what kind of first started it though. Was like with the whole like episode a week. I like it because it makes me want to wait for the next one. But then at the same time, it's like sometimes I just want to like download the series, especially if it's like a really good series I'm watching, and I'm going on a trip or like somewhere where like I'm just gonna watch shows for a few hours or something because I'm like on a plane or like I don't know, just something where I just want to binge watch a series. It's annoying when I have a series I really really like and I can't just binge watch it because also like with those series that come out that are really good, then all I'm thinking about is that series and I can't get into any other series, and so I don't want to watch any other show, so I'll watch like a 40-minute show every week. And other than that, I'm not watching really any TV because I just can't get into anything else. And so I get why they do it because it hooks people that want to watch the series. It hooks people into at least paying for your subscription service for a few months over the time period of this
but you
series
just,
launching.
Like,
but it's like, but it's just like really annoying waiting. So yeah, pros and cons with it.
I think streaming services now are trying to do what channels on TV are trying to do.
Yeah, the one thing I've never, like, for one, like, cable, the one thing I've never, of course I get it because they make money. The one thing, though, I've always thought about cable that was, like, such a ripoff is it's, like, you have to pay for cable monthly, and you get ads. It's like you're paying to watch ads. And that's one thing about streaming services is it's usually you just pay or you do ads. I haven't liked the fact, like, Netflix is now trying to launch is launching a new service or has launched a new service, which is, like, you pay, like, $5 a month and you get ads.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, is
supposedly more cheap, but they're raising the price on the other.
Yeah, well, I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I was asking her because we also have Prime, and we originally got it just because we started using just Amazon a lot, and so it was free shipping, and it would also come faster. And I was just talking to her, like, how much is it? And I think it's, like, $100 a year, or $10 a month. And I was just like, that's a way better deal than Netflix, because right now it's, like, $22 a month, and it's just movies. With Prime, you get, although there's not really a lot of good series on Prime Video, you still get Prime Video, actual Prime shipping. I think you get, like, I've been able to get, like, free games every month on Epic Games through it. Oh. And they have other things, but, like, Netflix has just gone so far out into the ballpark with their prices. It's just, The other thing, too, is, like, Apple TV Plus. It's $8, which I think it's $8. Isn't a bad price. So. For most, like, if every streaming service was $8, that would be amazing. Like, if Netflix was $8. The only thing is they have so little movies that come out every month or two. And so I have found, though, that, like, some of my top 5 favorite TV series are on Apple TV Plus. Like, Ted Lasso was really funny.
They release good stuff.
And, and I think For All Mankind I liked. That was, it was about, like, Russia beating the U.S. to the moon. And it was, like, a real, like, mind thinker because it's, like, what actually would happen if they did go to the moon first. And then I think it's called Foundation was another one, because that's like a full sci-fi movie, and it reminds me kind of Star Wars. It's just, it's more realistic, and
Yeah.
of like that actually could happen in some future, like in 2 million years, that actually could be what happens. Like that's could be what humanity is.
Yeah.
But it's just they're just so sparse with their series that it's like either put more series on it or make it cheaper, because it's like
Yeah.
I think the only reason I have it right now is because I got a year free with when I got a Mac a few years ago, I got a year free of it. And then my dad just completely forgot to cancel the subscription. And when he remembered, there was a new series coming out. I'm like, oh, wait, I want to watch that series. And so then he forgot about it again and just has never bothered to now cancel it. But it's just, yeah, the price to amount of series you get is not that accurate.
And then the remotes are also pretty bad.
I mean, a lot of people complained about the one with, like, the swipe at the top.
With the tiny touchpad, yeah.
I actually liked it. It was annoying sometimes if it was, like, in your couch and started clicking.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, it would sometimes be really easy to swipe on it. But the one thing I liked about it was way, and I mean, like, compared to any other device I've used, it was so much easier to type stuff in. Because it's this bar, you just could swipe with your finger and go from one end to the other. If you did it properly, you could swipe all the way across from A to Z. And so it made it with just one swipe versus the click, 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 click. And so that part I did like about it. It was really sensitive, though, and it was a small remote.
Yeah.
I think, like, they came out with a newer remote now, and it seems better. The one thing I've always, though, kind of been frustrated about, although I don't have one, is, like, their mouse with the plug-in at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I have a mouse, but it's batteries. It's, like, from 6 years ago before they started making it rechargeable. And so I haven't had that issue. But it would be super annoying to have that mouse
Like
and have the plug-in thing. Yeah. That mouse, I do like the touch on it, right? Because you can also swipe left and right, not just up and down like one with a wheel. And you can do, like, pinch on it. The only other thing, though, is with that, it has the side effect of with, like, Unity, for example. When I'm doing 3D projects in Unity, I cannot use that mouse because with the wheel, you can click down on it and then scroll or, like, move the mouse. And that has a different effect on how you're interacting with the world, like with the scene when you're designing a level in Unity 3D, for example. That's the one where I've had the most issues with it. And you can't do, like, a press in the middle and have that same effect. It's like you press in the middle and that's like a left click or a right click depending on what your finger's more closer to instead. And so that part's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably wrap this up.
All right. And that was the 11th ever episode of the J.A.W.W.A podcast featuring William Jacobs and Tamika Brown. We have no sponsors.